Alright guys, welcome back to another one. What we fixing to do today is we're fixing to build a packable bow saw. Most of them you find online, good ones, quality bow saws, around 70 something dollars for a good packable one. You could probably buy some cheaper ones for the $40 mark, but we want a good quality one. I have built one that I'm not really happy with, the way it packs, the way it put together, so I'm going to redesign. I'm going to build one a different way. So stick with us, and what we've got here is we've got a piece of 1/2 inch schedule 40 for strength. A little bit heavier, but I think well worth it, no more than it's going to weigh. And then we've got a piece of 1 inch schedule 40. And this is going to be the main two components. I had contemplating using a threaded rod to draw the top in, but I'm probably going to use a string because of the weight issue, just to make it where we can slide it in our pack. I think this benefits as far as cutting firewood, camping. In the canoe, a regular 36-inch bow saw is not really a problem, other than just winding up with so much stuff piled around in a canoe. So we're going to try to get everything to where, regardless of whether we're canoeing or we're backpacking in, that we got the same gear, fits in the same bag, and we throw it in a boat. We can just slide our pack down in a dry bag and go. So we're going to build this bow saw, and I'm sure there's some other ones online. I'm sure you can research it and find some others on YouTube or whatever, some other designs. I'm going to show you what I feel like works the best, because I have built one, and I used my bigger pipe for the center part to pivot on. I notched it out. I'm not really happy with the way this packs. The blade has a cover on it, but if I was to damage this cover or lose this, it leaves that blade exposed in my bag. And the way it goes, I could wedge it down in between these, but it would curve my blade. I don't want to bend the teeth, because the way those teeth are designed, and the teeth has to do like this for it to work. If they get pushed all in the same line, it doesn't cut well. So if it's not going to cut well, I just soon throw it away. So for the packing reason, we're going to redesign. We fix to build another one. Y'all hang with us. I'll show you how we do it. Okay, we're going to use this bail end so that we can put these two pieces together. I will drill holes in it for connecting my string, but it won't affect that at all. It's just going to be where we can slide this together. So we want that bail in. Otherwise, you're going to have to add a coupling to piece this together this way. We're going to mark right here 12 inches. We're going to come down and we're going to mark 24 inches. Now we're going to cut that in them two places. Now we're going to mark this right here 1/2 inch. We're going to mark it at 18 inches. Okay, we're going to cut both of these right quick. Let me get my cutters. I haven't tried to cut 1 inch pipe with these cutters before, but I feel sure that they'll do the trick. I do want it cut somewhat straight. Sometimes these have a tendency, if you're not careful, to walk over to one side. That's a pretty straight cut. This is the fastest way to not get all these shavings everywhere. Okay, that's them two pieces. Lay that to the side. We're going to find our mark here. We're going to cut our 18-inch mark. We got a little bit crooked there, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're going to save these scraps. We may need them for something else on another project one day. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to come up. So we're going to come up from the bottom. I'm going to pin my blade in the bottom. We want to come up on these around 6 1/2. I'm going to go 6 3/4. guesstimate that one. It's not got to be real precise. Now what we want to do is we want to make a hole in this from that mark up that this pipe will slide into. Okay, we're going to start with a 1/4 inch and make us a pilot hole in this. And I'm going to come up to about right there. Okay, don't drill through but one side now. I'm going to make sure that I put my stuff the same by eyeballing it. And that looks like about it. Clamp this stuff in my vise just makes it easier. You can do this without the vise more than likely. Okay. Alright. Now that's going to be it. While I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and put my hole right up here in the top, and I'm going to go all the way through. This will be for my string. And we will go all the way through with these holes. Do that to both of them. I'm going to go ahead and do that to this one as well. Okay. And while we got the drill out and that bit in there, I'm going to go ahead, while I'm thinking about it, and put my blade attachment. I'm going to make sure you turn that. Okay, now this hole this is where this is going to connect. I want my pins to go in sideways, so you'll drill around on the side of that. Don't drill it in line with that. So I'm going to turn my pipe to where this hole is over here on the side. And that way I can drill straight through right here. While that's in there, hacksaw. Clamp that down a little better. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut our mark, our notch, for our blade to go into. We want that center now. If you get off just a hair, it's probably not a deal breaker, but that's going to wobble that way. Let's turn it around this way. Let's make it easy on ourselves. And actually you only need this mark up one side. And the side that you need it on is the inside, towards your hole, because that's going to sit at an angle. Okay, let's drill these holes. All the way through. Make sure we lined up the direction we want to be. Now I'm leaving you right now in real time, show you just how fast with the materials laid out that you can build this. I've got that towards me. Building one of these saws is not I'm going to cut both ways down a little while, and I'm going to cut it at an angle. Okay? Now, we've got all that done. We want to make this hole right here large enough for this pipe to go inside of. So we're going to get rid of our 1/4 inch bit. We're done with it. For right now, anyway. We're gonna go, this is 11/16. I wish I had at least a 3/4. But we're gonna build with what we got. And that battery died. Not to worry, we got another hot battery. Okay. Now we only got a little ways to go. You see how I'm wallering this around? I ain't gonna recommend that, but it will work. We want to make this pipe go inside of there. Now I do have this is a rasp. Okay, we're in on that. Okay, we're in. See this taking shape now? Okay, what I want to show y'all right now is I'm making this bowsaw blade cut. You don't literally sharpen a bowsaw blade. You bend the teeth slightly. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to turn around to the dull end. If you look right down this, you see that those teeth are almost straight in line. Okay, I've done about 2 sections of this, and now you see how those teeth are spread apart. In other words, they're like this. I can't hardly do it with my fingers, but instead of being perfectly in line, you bend them out like this. In other words, every other tooth is bent back and forth. Now these double center pieces right here, you leave them straight in line. These little points, there's 4 of them. And they're an even number for a reason. One goes one way, that way, that way, that way. In other words, every other one is bent the opposite direction. And that allows you to be able to cut. So I'm going to show you how I go about doing this right here. Let me clamp this in my vise. Turn you down where you can see. I'm going to get you close in. Okay, I've just got a small pair of needle nose. Okay, now what I'm doing, this one is that way, that one is that way. This next one right here, you skip over the double. You got 4 here, so 4, and you just go a little bit. Now, don't break them off. You just put a little flex to it. It'll make all the difference in the world of this thing cutting. A lot of people, they think, oh, I need to oil the blade, it's binding up. Well, what's actually happening is those teeth have gotten mashed straight into a line, and it's not cutting a wide enough groove for the blade to go through there. If this blade is biting and you're getting a lot of resin or whatever off the wood, this is how you fix that. And I thought I broke it, but I slipped off. Oh, it scared me. I knew I didn't put that much pressure on it. But you do have to be careful. They will, especially a cheaper blade. And you can do this. This is not an expensive blade right here. This is cheap. Just be careful and watch what you're doing. Ever so slightly. I don't know how to tell you in how many thousandths or 16ths 30 seconds of an inch or whatever this is. I'm just going through here doing it. Now if there's one bent in this middle, like this is a double one, I'm pushing it back to straight. I don't want it bent out. And you just slide this along in your vise and do it. You don't want to try to, you can probably do it by hand without a vise. It's much easier this way. Okay. Now you will notice that on more expensive blades, they will have a bevel on some of this. In other words, you can actually sharpen, but that's not the most problem with most blades. In other words, you can do this without that even having a bevel on it. They will cut through most, especially camping, because most of us guys that are going out camping are not cutting green trees down. I realize there's times when you have to. Most of us are finding dry driftwood, wood laying that's dead standing, because that's usually the best wood anyway. It's dry and will burn well. So we're not cutting normally a lot of green wood. Now there are times that I prefer green wood, so I'm not saying you won't never cut green wood. If you got to build shelters and build whatever bushcrafting, if you get in a bind, you're going to need to. But this will still work. Okay. All right, here. As I put this back together, you're going to notice that this piece of PVC pipe, schedule 40, has been replaced. We now have a piece of conduit. And the reason that I've changed this, and notice that I've ground a slight bevel with a belt sander right here on that, tapered it on both ends. In other words, when I tapered it at an angle like this. Same size. Because when I went to pack this all together, it did not want to pack. In other words, I couldn't get my blade to go in here with this schedule 40. It's too thick. So for the same strength, I got a small piece of conduit. This is why that you have stuff laying around in junk piles. People drive up and go, "What are you doing with all this junk?" Well, I make stuff out of this junk. It's not for everybody. If you're not a handyman, if you're not a mechanical minded and engineer minded, junk probably don't benefit you one bit. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go outside. We're going to see if we can cut something with this blade. I did test it a second ago and it didn't want to cut. So I mean, it would have cut. It didn't cut according to my standards. Now, I want to show you right here. I laced these loose ends inside of this because I don't like them flopping. And you see how they'll bite on that? And that's just for my peace of mind. They don't hurt a thing flopping. I just don't like it. Now see, we got, let's go see if we can cut a piece of wood. hanging on my hole there. Well, sir. We're going to get our blade in there. Put the blade in first. Then we can slide this. Okay, we can put our stick in there. Now the ideal thing is we got to get us 2 end caps to go on this. The string and all will go in there. When I go to get my wing nuts and my shorter 1/4-inch bolts, I get me 2 1-inch caps. Put a cap on each end, and that'll be that. And that'll go right in my pack. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope maybe this give you some ideas for something to do with your pack. We're gonna slide this right down in our pack, and let me show you right quick. See if we can fit it in there. My pack's already loaded with my other gear, and I've got some things that I'm gonna change out. Now some of this may fall out because of not having a cap on there. I make it slide it right in this back part back here. Yeah, there we go. We just have to find the right place for it. That'll cover right over it. Thank y'all for watching my video. Make sure to like these videos, subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. We're going to try to help you out, give you some good ideas, save you a little money along the way. Yeah, I like new gear as much as anybody else, but a lot of us at work every day can't afford to go buy all the newest, latest gadgets. There's a lot of ways you can get by a lot cheaper. But now, some things you don't want to forsake quality on. So, thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.